This part work has been supplied to me free of charge from Fanhome.com. Please pop along to their website and see all of the other build-up part works that they have to offer, as well as other collections of collectible things. I would like to thank Fanhome for providing me with the part work so I can produce these videos for your enjoyment and educational needs. If you'd like to build one of your own, pop along to fanhome.com. They're available in many countries worldwide. If you do want to build one, leave a note in the comments to let me know how you're getting on, and let me know how I'm getting on as well. I'd like feedback of all types. So thank you once more to Fanhome for providing me with this kit. I hope you enjoy the build. Let's get on with it. Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models. Welcome to issue 41 of building the legendary Dodge Charger RT from Fast and Furious. In this issue we're going to be putting things together that we've been building over the last few weeks, and it's all coming together. The chassis and the undercarriage of the car is all building up. But first of all, obviously, we're going to have a look through the magazine first. We're looking at Han, the true story. The story of Han changes throughout the series of films. In fact, we thought he died, but then he came back. Spoilers, sorry, but yeah, he got better. There was love interest, and then there wasn't, and then it follows. It's a story. It's all about family, isn't it? It's all about family. The entire series. The Dodge Circuit EV concept. I quite like the look of that. That looks quite nice. Electric vehicle. Never entered mass production, so to demonstrate that the Chrysler Group already had electric technology ready. Yeah, it works. Right, so first of all, we're going to be attaching the rear axle. With the parts supplied is another wheel, basically. Exactly the same as next time, but this time we've got a lot more to do. Look at all the things. Look at all the things that we've got to do in the next few minutes. We're going to be fitting the drive shaft that we built before. We're going to be putting in the springs and stuff that we had before. They're over there. Look, they're still there. Fitting the entire suspension system, and then building a wheel, and then fitting the wheel. And then we're done. Then we'll have 3 wheels on my wagon. But we'll keep rolling along. It's all about the setup, apparently, in Tuning Mania. I understand how suspension works. We can begin to consider the term setup and all its implications. It's all about how hard and soft and damp and stuff and things. The more suspension you've got, the more time you get in contact with the road, which is good for driving and things. But if it's too stiff, then when you go over a bump, it will cause problems and things. So yeah, it's all about stuff, geometry, separate components, and making it all work together. Yeah, because the car needs to lean, but not too much, but not too little. But it's such a fine balancing act to get it to this kind of degree that these guys make it work. It's amazing. So that's that. I shall clear the bench, I'll get the parts ready, and bring in the rest of the car as well at some point in this part of the build. So I'll see you very, very shortly. Right, it occurs to me that the parts provided with this part of the build are not going to be sufficient for doing this part of the build. I already mentioned that we're going to be doing the parts with, I don't think we need the nut thing anymore, but we're going to be using the springs and dampers as well. I'm hoping that the screws that I've got out here are going to be sufficient, but I do have the backup supply of screws if I need to go back to them. We'll figure it out as the thing goes on. We're not building the wheel quite yet, although we know how it's going to go together. I won't put it together yet. We'll put that off to one side with all the parts that came just now, and we'll see what we're going to build with what we've got left over. We are going to be inserting the drive shaft into the car, which we have. It says to put it down carefully upside down. Obviously we haven't put the supercharger thing on the top there because we can lay it down on that, but we're going to be very careful because things might get caught or fall out or cause problems. I'm going to put it about there. I think that's probably the best place because we're going to be dealing with lots around this area today. So we are installing this. The end with the smallest diameter, which is this end, needs to go in there and fit into there. That in itself is fairly easy. This obviously doesn't work, doesn't turn, so we're going to have it so the screws are hidden, because why would you not? So then these are fitting into there with AM screws coming from the other side. Have I got AM screws? I can't read them on the picture. We've got a single AM screw there. I've got FM. I've got more AM, good. And that, I know there's another FM there as well. So let me empty that packet of AM and get rid of that packet. And I'll take one more of these out from here. I know they gave us a lot of screws in one of the previous issues. So obviously we're going to be using those very, very shortly. These are fitting into there. And although there is in fact a little bayonet piece there isn't actually one on the corresponding part. So that's going in there, and that's going in there with a screw coming in from the other side to hold that in place. Now obviously I can't do that upside down, so what I'm going to do is turn it a bit and sort of support it and hold it and things. We'll hope I can get it in the right general sort of area. I'm actually going to go for the one on the other side first, because that's the angle that I can more conveniently hold this at the moment. Aim for the screw hole, which I can't really see very well. Let me take that out, then I can see the hole. Now I can get the screw through it. Then hopefully it'll all just fall together in the right place. Does in fact feel like that's going in there. Okay, let's get that started. Then I can do the same on the other side. I'll do this off camera because it's going to be a lot of manipulating and stuff. So that's going to go in there. And then basically I'll just be dropping the springs into them like that. And then we'll come back to it this way up and get the wishbone suspension part fitted. Right, that's those attached. Although they're tight, they do still have some movement to them. Also, this fell out while I was playing around with it, so I don't know why you want to put in a loose bit first and then do those. So it's probably best to do those first, and then you can fit this back into there. Just like that. Then we need to bring in... No, I don't. I took the springs out as well, so I'll put those back in there as well. That's those. Right. Then we need to bring in this bit, which goes that way round. So we've got 2 screw holes there for that. 2 screw holes there for that. There's one other hole that's not being used yet. But while we're putting this down onto there, we do need to do 3 other things by the looks of it. We need to get the rods into the tubes. We need to get the end of this into the end of that. So I'll do that first because we can still move that around after the fact. After getting those lined up there-ish, these need to be bent down. Lined up. So just as well we've got a little bit of wiggle on these because we're going to need it. That's got to go in there at the same time that one goes in over there, and all these line up with that. So once that's there and that's there, that should be relatively easy to get it to push down a little bit further. There we go. Yeah. Then these will hopefully... Okay, because we've got little indentations in the as well as the hole and little plugs there, so that should about like that, and the same down there, a bit like that, with these having a bit of give to them. Okay, so that's that, and the other side is the same. That's already in there. That's got to be lined up somehow, somewhere. Got to be about there, isn't it? Feels like it's almost in the right place. Once I get the screws in, that will no doubt help. But that's how it's starting to look underneath there. That's not too bad. Yeah, so we've got that lined up with there. You have to do the shock absorbers, yes, as well as that in there. Then we need a combination of AM and FM screws, which is convenient because that's the ones we've got left over. Up here we've got 2 AM on either side, and up here we've got the FMs. So let's get 4 of those out. And we'll empty that one. And we get another 3 of those out as well. I put that back over there because we'll almost certainly be needing those in a moment. Right, so now the trick is to do all this at once. These are going up this end. These are going up this end. We've got to get them in without knocking everything else out. So what I'm going to do is tip it halfway. This is the only thing that's actually loose at the moment. If I can get that tipped over halfway, should be able to get a screw in there, and that's not going anywhere. That feels like that's now entering a hole. So let's get one in there. Again, not tightened yet. Just going to make sure the holes are all lining up in the right places. They are. I'll leave those 2 for now. Come up this end. Play around with these 2. One should be just about there. That feels like that's in the right place. Good. One more there. That feels like that's all located. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then I'll clear this out the way and get the wheel built. And then when we come back to fit the wheel, you can see how it all looks when it's done. Right, I've deliberately skipped ahead and not shown you building the wheel because the next issue is basically building the wheel or the other wheel and fitting it on, which is exactly the same as I've just done here. So you can watch it then. If you want to watch it again, I've done 2 before in the past anyway on the front. It's exactly the same. It's not rocket science, but I'll show you it next time, which will be in a few days anyway. So that has now all gone together on there. Screws tightened up in all of the areas on the suspension. It's all in there. It's all nice and shiny. I don't know where that's going yet. It's got to be to the back brake somewhere, something. I'm just going to tuck it away out the way for now. So yes, it's starting to get there. The steering is obviously still connected up and working. The engine's there. It's got 3 wheels now and exhaust and everything. It feels like it's almost mechanically getting there. So the second half of this build, we're at 41 now. So when we get to like 50, we're going to have to start doing panels and interior and stuff like that, which is going to be a little bit different. So thank you very much for joining me on this. I'll show you building the wheel next time, or go back and watch like episode 3 or something. It was a long time ago that we did that, but we did it all the same. I'll see you very shortly for the more, and yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Bye bye.